So finally the DRV8825 chip has arrived, slow bake from China, and so this is it. I've got the meter reading milliamps on here. I've got the DRV chip in, but I had to take out the IC sockets and put in proper 8P headers because the IC socket was no good and the DRV chip just wouldn't fit properly. And one of them turned out to be faulty anyway, so it's a good thing I bought two. So I'm running the myFocuserPro software. I'm connecting up to the device, and I've ensured that coil power is on. And basically what I want to do is I want to set the motor speed to slow first, which I've done, and I'll set the position to 0 on the focuser, and then I'll ask it to go like 1,000 steps. So I'll type in position 1000 and tell it to go to position, and watch the stepper motor. Notice it's actually not moving. So if I was to adjust the current a wee bit, let's go another 500 steps, and let's start adjusting the current. Until the motor steps fine. So I've backed it right off. You notice it's not moving at all. And about 5 degrees or 10 degrees from that home position, it starts to move. So just give it a little bit extra. Right, so that's it. That's at full steps. Let's change the step mode to half steps. And let's tell it to go another 5,000 steps. Yeah, 3,000 steps from where it is. It's at 4,000 at the moment. I'm going to tell it to go to 7,000. This is half steps and it's not quite stepping. So what I need to be able to do is get it stepping at half steps like that. So I needed to back off the current a wee bit, and that's fine. So now let's try quarter steps. Set mode. And I'll tell it to go about another 2,500 steps from where it is. And you notice that it's stepping fine at quarter steps. So I started off with full, and then I went to half, and then I went to quarter, and just kept adjusting it a wee bit. I'm not worrying about what current's being shown on the meter. Currently it's showing 126 odd milliamps flowing through. Let me just set it back to half steps, and let's change the position by 2,000 again and tell it to go. So half steps is working fine. It doesn't appear to be any missteps there at all. And it's drawing about 126 milliamps. Let's go back to full steps. And this is, let's again go 2,000 steps. Full steps is working fine. Let's change it to, let's up the speed a wee bit to fast speed. Let's go home. That's working fine. Let's go half steps. Let's go to position 2,000 from home at half steps. That's at half steps. Let's go quarter steps. Let's go to position 5,000. That's 3,000 steps from where we are, using quarter steps. And there we go. This is 500 steps at a time, at quarter steps, and you can see that it's barely moving. Alright, so look, I'm satisfied about where that it is. I can't hear any hissing noises or anything. The current does vary all over the place, depending upon what stepping mode you are. I need this to be at half steps, so I've set it back to half steps. And it's telling me here that it's position 5,000. Sorry, 500. Power's on. It's on half steps. So let's tell it to go to like 3600. Go to. That's at full steps. Now you heard a slight pause every now and again, and that's because the in the settings mode for extra settings, let me just disconnect the controller, and in extra settings what I've got is I've got the update position when moving on, and if I turn that off and then reconnected to the controller, so I've reconnected to the controller now, and if I tell it to go a long way, I don't get those little interruptions every now and again. It just goes straight to 9,000. So if you do have that update position when moving on in extra settings, then every so often it's got to grab the position from the controller, which interrupts the stepping just fractionally. The other thing you'll notice is I've got here one of these EMI clamps, and all of the cable just goes out through, back around through, and then away, and I've just secured it with a plastic tie, so that helps reduce any interference that the stepper waveforms, the pulses going to the stepper motor might generate to other equipment. So that's the focuser all done. Everything's working. Everything's finished now. There's a little heatsink that comes with the DRV8825. Is sometimes from some manufacturers. You peel off the little tape, backing tape on the back of it, and then this can be positioned very carefully on that IC chip like that, and that acts as a heat sink. You've got to be careful because it does move around a wee bit, and you don't want to short any pins out, especially if you've got power on like I have at the moment. But push buttons are working. Gone the other way. So there we have it, all finished.